Uh-oh, Terry McLaurin is unhappy in Washington, so much so that he left OTAs after initially showing up amidst contract disputes. Welcome to Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. We're going to talk about this situation and how it could turn into a potential holdout as the Commanders are in an interesting spot. Big season coming up in Washington. This is why you subscribe to the channel. When big NFL news drops, we cover it here on Four Verts. Give my thoughts, my take around everything surrounding the National Football League, college football world as well. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. Let's continue to grow this channel. Jordan Schultz with the report here saying that Terry McLaurin has made it clear to the team that he's frustrated with the lack of progress on a long-term deal. As I previously reported, McLaurin unexpectedly left voluntary workouts after initially attending, and it remains to be seen whether he'll report for mandatory minicamp. McLaurin is entering the final year of his contract. Talks have been minimal. My initial reaction here is I think Terry McLaurin's got a lot of leverage over Washington in this spot. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. He signed a 3-year, I think $68 million deal a few years ago, so he's making $22 per year. But, a lot of that guaranteed money goes in the first couple of years of the deal, and, the market changes, and now he wants a new deal. And he's 29 years old, turns 30 in September. He probably knows this is his last time to really cash in on a big multi-year contract, so can't really blame him. And like I said, I do think he has the leverage. And the main reason for that is he is by far their best wide receiver. Like, it really is not even that close. You look at how consistent this guy has been since entering the league. He's never had that major 1,500-yard season, but he's basically been a 1,000-yard guy from the jump. Last year with Jaden Daniels, he had 13 touchdowns, so you saw the scoring production increase when he finally got a competent quarterback, because remember, this guy was a warrior for this team playing with garbage quarterbacks for years from 2019 to 2023. Now you see how dynamic this pairing can be with Jaden, and in the last year of his deal, he was like, yeah, I want a new contract, and what are you going to do, not give it to me? You're going to rely on Deebo Samuel, who I think could be a nice complimentary piece for Washington here, but I don't think his best days are ahead of him. I think they're behind him, and he certainly is not a pure just elite wide receiver at this point. He's a complimentary piece that can do some different things. Noah Brown is fine. Luke McCaffrey did not look very good last year. I mean, Jalen Lane they drafted. Is he going to take a big step? Are they going to get anything out of Michael Gallup or KJ Osborne? They let Olamide Zaccheaus and De'Ami Brown go in free agency. I think if you take Terry McLaurin off of this team, out of that wide receiver room, I think it's a bottom 5 unit in the league. I think it goes from being pretty good with McLaurin and some complementary pieces to just complementary pieces. And I'm not trying to diminish Deebo Samuel, but he's never really been a guy that consistently wins on the outside. He certainly doesn't do that anymore. You kind of have to manufacture his touches. And if he's your top guy, I think you're in major, major trouble. So I do think McLaurin's leverage is pretty significant there. Number 2, the market's exploded, and he's underpaid given the market. And look, I know there's always going to be pushback. Well, he signed a contract. He should play it out. It's not really how it works, especially for the best players in this league. Think about you and your job, right? If you signed a 2-3-year contract and you're outperforming expectations, typically there's going to be an opportunity to renegotiate. Now, maybe your boss will hold you to the fire and say, you signed this deal and you got to play it out. But if you're among the best at what you do, you're probably going to have some wiggle room and the ability to make more money. And that is what has happened here. He's in that $22 million per year range. Look at how many players on here that I would say T-Mac or Terry McLaurin is just as good, if not better. I think he's better than Brandon Ayuk. I think he's better than this current version of Tyreek Hill. T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, they're really good players. They're number 2 wide receivers on their current team. To me, at minimum, he's got to get that T. Higgins contract, right? $28, $29 million per year. Higgins is a great player. He's never been a number 1 outside of his rookie year, but even then, they went out and got Jamar Chase because they thought they could upgrade there. I think if I'm Terry McLaurin, I'm asking for at least $29 million per year. I think that's more than fair. I don't think he should get 35, 36. He's not CeeDee Lamb. He's certainly not Jamar Chase. But 3 for $90, $30 million per year, make 75 guaranteed, call it a day. Brandon Ayuk at 30 per year. top that deal, give him 30 and a quarter, and give him 80 million guaranteed. Ayuk got 76. I think that is completely fair. And lastly, why he has leverage is he's not dumb. This is a critical time for Washington. If he was this level player, but they were still one of the dumpster fire teams in the NFL, I'd be on the opposite side of this argument. I'd be like, let's just trade him. Like, that's what I would say. That's what I said about Myles Garrett, who's a better player at his position. I was like, the Browns should just trade him, not because he's not worth keeping, not because he's not great, but because you're not close to winning with this guy. But with Terry McLaurin, you're on the verge, right? You're coming off an NFC Championship appearance. You have a rookie quarterback ascending potentially into superstardom on his rookie deal, which is the time to strike if you are a good football team. You can't afford to have this going on. Like, you can't go into this season without Terry McLaurin because there's no avenue to replace him right now. Like, it'd be one thing if you could trade him, if this was before the draft and then you drafted a guy you were really high on or something like that. Like, okay, that's a different story. What are you going to do? Trade him for another star receiver? You got to flip him for Tyreek Hill? I don't think that's happening. The time to strike is now. And I get it. He's 29. He's going to be 30. You might view it as a situation where by the end of that contract, he's not performing anymore. Well, by the end of that contract, you're paying Jaden Daniels, and you could probably cut Terry McLaurin in 2 or 3 years if you really need to. My advice, get this done by training camp. I don't care if McLaurin's at mandatory minicamp next week. That's not a concern of mine. We know him and Jaden have good rapport, but it's a tough division, man. Philadelphia is going to be really good. Dallas is going to be better than they were last year. The Giants are at least going to be a little bit feisty. The NFC as a whole, I would say, has improved. Like, you need your top guy out there. You need Terry McLaurin on this football team. He deserves a pay raise. Again, he was loyal, a warrior through some bad QB play. Now you got him a quarterback, and he wants a pay raise because he's earned it. You don't seem interested in giving it to him right now. So I think this is a leverage play. He knows he's got it. Eventually, the Commanders will budge and get a deal done. I'd be shocked if they traded him this offseason. So what say you? Will the Commanders pay Terry McLaurin? Type Y for yes, they will. N for no, they will not. Again, I think they'll bend the knee. I think they get this deal done. Speaking of deals getting done for receivers, Rashod Bateman has gotten a 3-year, $36.75 million contract extension from Baltimore. Was finally able to have a mostly healthy season last year, and I thought it was pretty damn good. I mean, almost 17 yards per catch, had 9 touchdowns. He's improved a lot in this offense under offensive coordinator Todd Monken, which has really helped enhance Lamar's game as a passer as well. I think this is a pretty big steal for Bateman. He's emerged as a really good 2-3. He's a vertical threat, red zone guy, still young. That's a pretty affordable contract for a solid 2 and an excellent 3 in today's NFL. I mean, on the contrast, I like Josh Palmer, but he got $12 million per year. I think Rashod Bateman still has room to grow as this young player who had some injuries early on, but is now staying healthy and is kind of showing that upside, especially as a big play weapon. So really like this deal for Baltimore, team-friendly contract, and he probably could have gotten more, but he probably really likes being there playing with Lamar, and I don't blame him. So feels like a win-win for everybody. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of 4 Verts. We will certainly monitor the Terry McLaurin situation as that thing plays out. My name is Harrison Graham. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.